The subject of creativity is such a huge subject. There are many things that make it happen. Sometimes it's desperation to produce something that somebody else will want to buy, print, look at, hang on their wall so that you can make a living out of it. At other times, there are people who are driven to be creative because that's their mission in life. They just can't think of living a life any other way, and they're willing to lock themselves up in an attic and starve and just keep painting or sculpting. I like to entertain people. I became a cartoonist because cartoons are popular and you can get across a multitude of ideas. You see something funny, something that strikes you funny in the paper, something political, something ridiculous, and you get a cartoon idea out of it. There isn't anywhere that I go, whether I get into a subway or on a bus or rent a car or whatever, that I don't have a criticism of how they run these things. I was able to exploit this creative attitude in Mad Magazine by doing, a lot of mad inventions. Everyone is inspired by a different muse, and you follow your muse. I hope I can create a couple of more things before I kick the bucket, which is a very creative thing to do, by the way, kicking the bucket, instead of dying. Creativity goes hand in hand, I think, with inventiveness. There's always a new creative way to make a breakthrough. I think trial and error and risk-taking and failure and all of that, I think it's a natural part of the creative process. I have had a lot of accidentals that I love. Sometimes it's just putting down color that you didn't intend to put down, and you look at it and you say, wow, it looks better than what I wanted to put down. A lot of artists look for accidentals because it almost happens by magic. I think accidents, I think distortion, I think anything that fits into design is legit. In creating the comic strip that I created, Tall Tales, I just simply had heard from colleagues of mine that don't even try to sell a syndicated comic strip because you can't get into the syndicates without driving out somebody who was already there. So I thought to myself, well, how about a strip that no one is doing anything like it, like all the strips are horizontal. Why not create a vertical one and they can put it anywhere in the paper, in the want ad section or in the advertising section. They don't have to put it on the comic strip page. And it was just a wild notion. The fold-in is another example of just seeing other magazines are doing all these fancy fold-outs in full color and all of that. Why not do a cheap black and white fold-in for Mad? Being creative is taking risks and trying things, and every now and then something happens. I am essentially a commercial artist. I do fine art for my own amusement. We should all feel free to amuse ourselves that way and just hang everything we do up on the refrigerator. But when it comes to making a living or serving clients, you have to have confidence that you know what you're doing. In school, you're satisfying yourself. In the real world, you have to solve somebody else's problems with your work. I will not try to save time ever on my work by going through it quickly and just getting it done. I have to be as satisfied with it as the person who's going to buy it from me. Anyone who is going to accept your artwork is not there to to solve your problems. You are there to solve their problems. When I get an assignment, and I'm talking about professional work, I will not deliver it until I am satisfied that I would buy it. You know, you have to use judgment. I sometimes get doubts about whether my interpretation is what was communicated to me. I have turned jobs down, even ones that I thought I could pull off, but they weren't natural for me. I was asked to do a comic book, which wouldn't have involved a satirical take on superheroes. I turned it down because I felt that to do a satirical take on superheroes, you had to be a superhero artist. It wouldn't come off as satire, it would just come off as some funny version. It would be like Inferior Man. It wouldn't be right. I think, you know, you have to have integrity in your work. When you finish your work and you're going to deliver it, hang it, do whatever you're going to do with it, you have to be able to stand there and say, I'm very proud of this.